Hello everybody, welcome to a special Sunday edition stream. We're just going to be working on some drawer stuff, the map peeking that I was working on. And yeah, so I've got a good chunk of work done on that. I think I just want to touch some things up now, and I'll show you what's going on. But anyway, what am I doing? Let me think about this. We'll just skip all the normal ads today. The only thing that I'll mention is that Alchemortis is on Steam, available for wishlisting and also available for playtesting. So if you want to give the game a shot, click the request access button to download it, give it a try. I would appreciate that. Also would appreciate a wish list if you're interested, so that would be great. And yeah, let's just get right into the work that we're doing. Hello Clickertail, welcome back. Nathan, good to see you. Necromantic, didn't think I'd see you today. Yeah, got a little bit of time to do some extra streaming, so that's good. Hello Mohall, Sunday stream in this economy, I must be dreaming. Anyway, so what I'm trying to work on is the same stuff that I've been working on for a little bit here, which is trying to get the player to be able to see the map when they're inside of this, inside of an event view, right? So I've got that kind of working. I can click this button here to go to the peak map state. I can't actually do anything in this state, so there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of like broken here that needs to be fixed. But yeah, that's basically what we got going on here. So that's working functionally speaking. And the things that I want to do now is just like tighten up some of this inventory stuff, because if I open this and I close that, that doesn't look very good. That does expand the alchemy correctly though. So yeah, I don't know. There's just like a bunch of little tiny things that are not working that great with it. Also, I want to make that transition to the map a little bit quicker. So yeah, but this is that. The inventory is not openable, so that's good. I want to make sure that that's not doing anything. Obviously that text needs to change. It doesn't need to say inventory, it needs to say map. And I'm also going to disable that state for combat because it's a little bit weird. I mean, it technically works. So if I go to combat here and I go back to map, the combat widget stays here. And if I click combat, it forces me back into the combat view, which is probably okay, but it looks a little bit weird with that combat widget there. So I actually have the ability to control now which states are able to switch to the peak. So what I'm actually going to do is state combat preparation. We're going to turn this off. State boss intro. So basically it's just the event state that we want to allow. State overflow cards, state combat rewards, state boss grow board reward. You know what I might do actually? Yeah, I might actually invert this. So let's go to run state. We're going to say allow peak equals false. And I'm going to get rid of all this here. And the only thing that I want to do is state event allow peak true. I think that's it. So just any event, we're going to exclude combat. We're going to exclude all that stuff. So that should greatly simplify things. If I go to my reagents, that's there. All right, so that button is also appearing a little bit too quickly. So map toggle button on peak availability changed. So run manager connect to peak availability changed. Let's go back to the run manager, emit signal peak availability changed, on peak availability changed. Run view controller, peak availability changed. Set required view. So this is happening actually during this reconcile here. What I may do, notify peak if changed. I might just put this down here. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, this is just, I'm going to be just working on tightening all this stuff up. And hopefully this will help players with the peak states that they want. So the other weird things is that if I click this, I can then go to the map, and then sometimes that doesn't look that great. I guess that's okay. And I got to do the drawer animations. I got to fix those up as well. So I can't peek in the combat. That's all right. We'll sell that guy. Sell these boys. Go to artifact. Peek. Okay, so that's actually not correct. So there's a little issue going on here, which is that that button is staying active. So on peak availability changed. When the peak availability changed, we're going to do map toggle button dot set active false. So when it becomes unavailable, we'll set it to false. So yeah, there's just a lot of little state that I need to track here, but I think this is generally a lot more consistent. So what I ended up doing is I took all of the view transition logic out of the run manager, which is like my giant state machine, basically. This now all exists in the run view controller. And basically what I could do is I can set a required view. And actually I want to rename this game view event. So I can set the required view that is basically currently required, and then I can call reconcile, and what that will do is that will basically just ensure that we're going to end up in the target view that we've set required, and then we do the fade in here, and then we have this await, where is that at? Await cover for, or wait for cover. Let's see where this is. Yeah, so we await cover for a state. So what this allows me to do is this allows me to actually wait for that reconciling to happen prior to doing the state logic. So I can still do a bunch of transitions before I, initialize my states. And that's actually very important for timing purposes. Do I want to allow people to see the combat summary here? So the other thing that I'm going to want to do, I should probably write all this down, is show some kind of clear indicator that you're in the peak state so that you don't get confused about like why you can't move anywhere. And that might just be as simple as adding some clickable validators to these things. So when you click them, an announcement shows up that says, you're currently in an event, return to the event or whatever. So I think there's some usability concerns there that we'll have to address, but that's all right. Anyway, so yeah, there's just a lot of things that I need to address here, but okay, so minor peak improvements, but this will be especially useful in the obelisk event. So people have been asking, hey, I want to be able to see the map during the obelisk event. So I go here, and it's like, oh, a nearby encounter will be transformed into a booster. So now I got to see what does my path look like. Okay, so I go back and then I can choose one. So yeah, hello Gimity, welcome back. Absolute Zero Deb, welcome. Do you take any days off? Usually Sunday is my kind of day off. But because it's like errand day, gotta go grocery shopping and stuff, but my wife offered to take care of that today, so I'm just going to be spending the day working because the demo is coming up soon and I have a bunch of things that I need to do for the demo. I still need to rework the tutorial and all that stuff again. So yeah, I work at least a little bit every day, 7 days a week, but once the game is released, I won't have to do that anymore. Hello, Snupbill. Welcome. Just trying out the milestone chat. I don't know what that is, but always good to see you. Hello, Ninja Link. Thank you for the Prime subscription. 7 months. Thank you, thank you. That's very generous as always. Appreciate your support. Appreciate everyone's support. We're going to get this game into good shape. All right, so let me write down everything that I want to do here. So this is done. This is done. Show the screen dimmer on inventory. That's not relevant anymore. Disable map view button. Okay, so we want to disable map nodes in peak mode with announcement, error message. We want to unify the drawer animations for peak. What else? Probably want to set the current node as visited. So when peeking, standing on top of an icon. All right, so disable map nodes in peak state. So my run manager, I believe I have a signal for this. Peak availability change, peak changed event handler. Okay, so what I need to do is in my game map, is this right? No, map container. Run manager, connect to peak change on peak, this that is peaking, okay. Clickable validator, add validator. How does this work? Where did that clickable validator go? Is it in here? Set visitable validity. Okay, where is this called? Oh, clear clickable validators. Clickable validators.add. Oh, I see. Set node visitable validity. Highlight visitable nodes. All right, so I may need to do some changes here. Set visitable validity. So this is clearing all the validators. I think what I want to do oh, okay. This might be a little bit tricky. So map container. So this is connecting to the peak changed. Set node visitable validity is visitable. All right, so what I may want to do actually is all nodes to reveal nodes and obelisk radius. I'm going to be honest, I don't know why this is setting it to false up here, but I'm assuming it's correct. Revealed nodes. Okay. Revealed nodes. Add reveal lock, set revealed. All right, so here's what I want to do, I think. We are currently clearing the clickable validators. So I think what I want to do is do something like private bool visitable validator. And we are going to do... Oh, that's not good. Do I want to store that? I think it's probably fine to store it. So if I do this is visitable is equal to is visitable, and then what I can do is I can return or game debug is all map nodes visitable. And so what I'll do in here is I'll add this visitable validator. Okay. So we have got clear here. What I want to do is I want to do public void remove clickable. Actually, I don't even need to do that anymore, right? Yeah, I don't even need to do that. I could just add a clickable validator on ready now. And I'll just change that is visitable state, and I don't need to click that anymore. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So now I just need to get, I mean, I might as well just private bool is peaking. This is a little bit not so great, but that's okay. Map container, let's close these other things here. So on peak changed. What I'm gonna want to do is, we'll add this validator too. Let's do private bool peak validator. Return not is peaking. Public void set is peaking. Okay. For each var node in revealed nodes. I guess I have to do map node set is peaking to is peaking. I think that's probably okay. So now I can add that validator as well. So I just add the validators up front. Peak validator. And I believe that's it. So then we've got this invalid clicked, create invalid shake tween. If is peaking, we're gonna do announcements.create announcement. And encounter, wait, what did I call it? Yeah, encounter is currently active, return. Maybe that's fine. I'm gonna need to translate that as well, but that's fine. All right, and then so I can test this. Well, I guess I don't really need to do anything with that. Won't have to do that till next game. Do you feel pressured, stressed to keep working, or do you just more enjoy doing it bit by bit? I mean, it's a little bit of both. Like, I do enjoy working on Alchemortis, but of course there's deadlines as well. So the pressure is not really like, you know, feeling pressured to work. The pressure is more like, I need to make proper decisions as to how to prioritize my work so that when the demo is available, you know, everything is feeling solid. So a couple of big problems to resolve is the map peaking stuff, but also the tutorial. So those are the big things that I need to do before the demo. And then there's a whole bunch of bugs and quality of life things that need to be addressed as well. But, you know, having a deadline is good. Like, it helps me focus on the things that matter. Okay, so let me make sure that this works as expected. So we're gonna go to project settings, debug, all nodes visible, turn off, turn that down to 0. Okay, let's see. Good wife, yes. Yes, my wife is very good to me. Hello, Emerson. Hello, Cake Hug. So the game is peak now. Wrong peak, I guess. Maybe I should add an error announcement for that while I'm in here as well. Translation string. So we'll grab an announcement for this. Group translation groups.announcements. Private const string announcement peak active. Okay. And then this one is this encounter is not reachable. Announcement encounter. Maybe this encounter is out of range. Or no, that sounds weird. We'll just do not reachable. Okay. So now in here, this create announcement, this becomes announcement peak active, else announcements.create announcement encounter out of range. Okay. So we'll build that. How's everyone's Sundays going? If we get this map stuff done, we can go back to doing some more content. That would be fun. This encounter is not reachable. Okay. So I go here, I open up the map. An encounter is currently active. We go back. So I want to change, I want to speed that up as well. Did I write that down? Speed up peak animations. Okay. We're getting there. It's very close. Oh, I need to update the update map peak button text. So we do this. I can go back. So the problem with being able to go back after I've engaged with an event is that sometimes things render on top like that. So I may need to detect when I've like actually taken an action on the event that should prevent the map from being peekable again. So I can peek in here, but basically like as soon as I click this, I shouldn't be able to peek anymore. I think that would be the proper thing to do. So that means that I'm going to need to go through each event and like detect when that happens, I guess. And I shouldn't be able to peek in combats either. By the way, I finished this item, Crystal Prismatica. It's just a bunch of red and orange crystals. And this is the one that removes all damage abilities and removes all fire abilities from top adjacent and bottom adjacent. My Sunday is going well. Just made a custom extension for Turbo Warp to allow GLSL shader stacking. Very cool. The werewolf eats the lamb, a tale as old as time. So yeah, I think if that peak animation is faster, what happens if I mash that button? It does not break. So I think I'm pretty confident in the rework that I've done for the transition stuff, because at least as far as I know, it's impossible to get into a situation where the game is soft lockable, which was a big concern. Oh, there's also an issue here. Okay, so the map state... Wait, if I go here and then I go back, it does recenter the camera, but if I start dragging... Oh. So I'm going to need to disable map input layer input handling when peak changes back to event. Okay, so this one's done though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to need to add a signal to the event state machines to indicate when an event has been engaged and peaking is no longer allowed. Okay. All right. So we're just going to go one step at a time here. So that map node change is actually really great now because I do have to store 2 new bools on the instance, but now I don't have to worry about like removing and keeping clickable validators. Those will just stay there always, and then the state inside, or the state that's evaluated inside of those methods, changes. So that feels better to me. And actually, I don't think I need to clear clickable validators anymore. Do I want to keep that? I generally don't like to keep methods around that aren't used anywhere, because what ends up happening inevitably is an old method hangs around. You may leave it around and say, well, it's currently not called by anything, but you know, I'll just leave it in because it works. But what inevitably happens is the code shifts around over a bunch more weeks or months of development, and then there's a situation where you go, oh, I have this method I can use, and you call it, but it no longer works, right? Or it no longer works as expected because you've built the rest of the code with this assumption that, well, an implicit assumption that that method is no longer being used. So if a method is not used, I tend to just remove it. And if I need to re-add it later, I'll do that. But what that means is that every single method in the game is called in at least one place. And so as things are changing, I can observe like when things break, rather than leaving something that may become out of date just passively because it's not being used anywhere. So that was the only place where clear clickable validator was used. So I'm just going to remove that because I don't want to end up in a situation later where I start using that and then it like creates a problem for me, right? Okay, so I think we're good. I'm learning Japanese, studying the alphabet right now. Very cool. Very nice. You can come into the game and critique my katana and any other Japanese-inspired things I may add. How do you approach UI and HUD stuff? I'm trying to design one for my game and I don't want it to be too basic, but I worry that making it thematic will be too niche for most people to get it. Yeah, I wish I had good advice for this. I mean, I'm not... The interface is a struggle for me too. I mean, I think a lot of you have seen how many iterations the Alchemortis UI has gone through. Like I usually say, you know, it's iterative. The early versions of Alchemortis had a functional but not very pretty UI. And as I started adding things to the game and as the requirements changed and everything, I was able to reevaluate like the positioning of things and how things are interactable. Of course, the playtests were very helpful too. Like one of the main reasons why the alchemy drawer is now right next to the inventory is because multiple people said it was weird for the alchemy to be all the way over on the far side of the screen. And so this drawer rework was based on that feedback, right? But, you know, then the requirements change. Like, obviously, I want to make the UI not look so empty. That was another piece of feedback, right? So just adding decorative elements to the UI, trying to make it a little bit more intricate, a little bit more detailed. But this actually, weirdly enough, it also improves clarity, right? Because you know that like all of the solid places are basically not interactable, but these void empty grid spaces, that's your inventory, right? So it's actually easier to identify like where your inventory is versus it all just being empty and black. But yeah, like I said, it's iterative, you know. I got the drawer size down, I got the inventory size that I wanted down, you know, the alchemy mechanics down, and then I was able to build stuff around that. And then as your UI matures, you end up with constraints, right? So like I wanted to add the ability pool, right? And then it was a big constraint, like, okay, well, I like the way the UI works, and also it's going to be a massive technical lift to like reorganize everything to add a new ability pool drawer or whatever. And so those constraints allowed me to think, well, I can actually just add like a little UI element up here, you know, and I could use that. And that's simpler, but it also fits into my existing UI very well. So yeah, I don't know, that's not necessarily any advice. I don't know if any of that's helpful, but I never get a UI correct the first time, like almost never. I don't think there's any aspect of the original UI from the early stages of the game that still exists. I think the combat widget is the oldest and longest lasting UI thing, and even that I had to change, right? A couple of streams ago, I had to go in and modify the art so that these health labels were a little bit longer so I could support longer health values, and then I did go and touch up a bunch of the art as well. So anyway, that's just a bunch of rambling. Maybe you found something useful in there, maybe not. I still remember when this game didn't even have a map. Our bravies grow up so quickly. Yes, yeah. Yep, originally there was no map. Originally it was more like the bazaar where it just like you just choose which events you go to in the UI, but that ended up not being super interesting, I guess. I definitely think the map here is better. We must judge the katana. If I don't make social media for my game, will most likely not sell. All right. I don't think that's a requirement. Of course it helps, but YouTube is a whole different beast, right? Like I'm in the fortunate position where I already have an existing audience. So when I put out Alchemortis content, I get at least, you know, like 7,000-8,000 views on it, right? But I think you can, I mean, there's all kinds of games that are made by indie developers that basically have no social media presence. So everything you can do can help, right? If you put out a post on social media that gets 1,000 views and one person wishlists your game, like that's an incremental improvement, right? It's a terrible conversion rate, but the incremental improvement is there. You have one more than you otherwise would. But I think the most impactful advice is if you make a game that streamers, influencers, content creators on YouTube are interested in playing, then you don't really have to build your own audience, right? Because you can just piggyback off of their audiences to show off the game. So having your own audience is not really that important when it comes to marketing your game. Like I said, it helps, but I suspect that Alchemortis is going to get a lot more traction from people like Wanderbots playing it rather than me just like posting my own content to my own channels. I just don't really want to make social media for it. I don't think it's a requirement, no. Hello, RedZSR. What does that node attribute you have do? It's part of some source generators that I wrote. Basically, if you annotate a class, or you add a scene attribute to a class that tells it that this class corresponds to a scene, and then the node attribute, when coupled with that, what it does is it generates code that grabs that node by name from the scene tree and assigns it to that member. So essentially the way that it works is when I say, okay, in my map node, I'm saying there's a node in the tree with the name icon, and it's a type of sprite 2D. So when wire nodes is called here, go and find the node with the name icon and assign it to that icon member. And it does a bunch of different matching. It tries just with normal Pascal case, then unique name, then lowercase unique name. This looks redundant here. I don't know why that's happening. I think it's trying with snake case as well. So it does like 6 or 8 different variants of like what it could possibly be named. And then if it doesn't find anything, it like tries to do a next best guess. But the other thing about the node attribute is you can also pass in the path, right? So I could just do icon there. And if that path is present, then what that will do is that should... Actually, what happens if I do... I don't remember exactly how that takes effect. Icon/test. Yeah, so if you provide your own path, it uses that as the first path that it uses. So icon/test. But I typically try not to do that. I just want to make my member names equal to my node names, and then all of those things get assigned when the scene gets instantiated here. Need them TikTok shorts in today's meta? How do you think I landed here in the first place? Yeah, the TikTok shorts help. Does your publisher have any problem with you streaming the development of your game where you show code? No, not at all. No. So I have complete creative control over the game. I have absolute freedom to market the game with my own efforts, which the stream is part of. I have final control over the deadlines. I have final control over all the creative decisions. Of course, I like my publisher and I respect their input and opinions, and I often defer to them in terms of like what marketing events we want to do and stuff, and like when we want to do the play tests and whatnot. I'm also obviously deferring to their expertise on like when we should have the demo ready and like what the release date should be. But I have the final say in everything, so yeah. You're my English teacher. I need to buy the game to pay you. Of course you teach game dev things too. I'm your English teacher. You speak very good English. I don't know what I could possibly be teaching you. Okay. Let's get back into doing some of this stuff. Do I want to do the drawer animations? Speed up. Let's try speeding up the peak animations here. So I actually don't know how I'm going to do this. Run view controller. Toggle peak. Do I want to do something just really basic? Well, what is peak view here? Let me try this. So fade out, game UI, fade out. I need to change, oh gosh. Okay, let's do float time, 0.6. Okay. Time goes here. Okay. So we're going to put fade in. So we just got to pass that all along. Okay, alrighty. So now my run view controller. Maybe I should make this null instead. Let me think about this. Because otherwise I'm going to have to keep track of like what the time should be. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to do this. Is peak toggle question mark 0.3f, otherwise 0.6f. I don't really like this, but that's okay. Because I have to basically duplicate the default values, which is not great, but that's okay. Okay. Fade in, false. Let's see what happens. Hello, Fork. I do have a publisher, yes. The publisher is Feardemic. Finally made a very small game of my own without a tutorial. Has a main menu, game screen, and then game over pop-up. It's more of a proof I can do it rather than a fun experience, though. That's great. That's very exciting. Why is that fade? Okay, so it's quick on the out, but it's not quick on the in. So I guess that peak view is not working. Right, because it's being set to null here. So I can't actually use that. So let's do this. Bool is toggling peak equals true, and we'll just put this in here. Okay, let's see if that works. Did you make your chat pop up tool? I did not. No, it's a tool called Social Stream Ninja. As far as I can tell, it's a pretty widely used tool, but yeah, I did not make it. I just got a major case of deja vu. Has that question been asked before? That question has either been asked before and I answered it exactly the same way, or that was some major deja vu. So yeah, the peak is now a lot quicker because we don't want to make the player wait for like 1.2 seconds when they're peaking. So it's more like half a second now, which still needs to happen. There still needs to be some kind of transition, but I don't want to make the player wait too long. So we got to go back to the event here. So we go in here. I need that map button to fade out when the event goes away. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so as soon as I click on stuff, I need to... So the question I'm wondering now is... I need to see if I can break some things. So if I go in here, if I grab an artifact, expand this and start dragging. Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's a little bit wonky, but I just don't want the drawers to be in a bad state. So that's good. Yeah. No problems there. I've got to run a few errands now. See you tomorrow. All right, sounds good. Always good to see you, Necromantic. Hello, Rin. Good to see you. Welcome back. How have you been? Got a lot of old faces in here. People who have been on this journey from the very beginning. It's a long time. I mean, I've been streaming this game basically since I started it. Just about every day for a year and a half or whatever. Some of you have been here from the very beginning. Gotta be a cool experience, right? Like, I mean, just like when I was trying to learn game development, it would have been cool to have like a consistent stream I could tune into where the developer is actually working on making a complete like Steam game. I feel like that would have been very useful when I was first starting out game development. Because I think, you know, you see a lot of streamers who make games and stuff, but I wonder how many of them are like actually trying to make a Steam game. Of course, I could always cancel Alchemortis, you know. Sorry, everybody. Alchemortis is canceled. That's a joke, by the way. I will not. This game will not be canceled unless something horrific happens, which hopefully will not. Just coding, coding, coding. That's the life. I haven't been here from the beginning, but I'll be here too then. Awesome. I started watching since early Gunforge. Right, yeah, that's right. I remember. I joined the stream and find out Alchemortis is canceled. Hello, Alien, welcome back. Yes, it's cool as I'm not used to being a solo dev. It's like a proxy office for background banter. Helps me stay on task, believe it or not. No, I believe that, yeah. I think there's definitely something to the idea that like it's easier to get work done yourself when there's somebody else, quote unquote, in the room that is also working and being productive. I definitely think that's a thing. I mean, oftentimes, like when I'm working off stream, what I'll often do is I'll throw up like, you know, like just like game development, GDC talks, or sometimes I'll even throw up live streams of other game developers as well. And I'll just like, you know, it's just on in the background, and every so often I'll tune into something interesting that's being seen or said. But more often than not, it's mostly just to have something to keep me in the zone, you know? Yeah. So we're getting there. It's getting very close. We just have to do all these things. Speed up peak animations is good. Oh, I don't think I really thoroughly tested that very well. I want to make sure I didn't break any of the animations. Actually, it probably won't break. Let's look at the run view controller here. So can peak, is peak allowed, and required view equals game event. So set required view, toggle peak, release cover waiters. Okay. Set required view. On state machine changing. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, this makes sense. I don't think there's really any room for this. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I don't really think there's any room for this to be wrong in terms of like the peak animations. because it's very like, it's just very hardened generally. That was one of the main goals of getting the map peeking done, is again, just making sure that everything is solid to the point where I don't end up in like bad states. The obelisk changes still work. That's great. Okay. Good. Speed up transition animations in peak toggle mode. So that's done. Disable map input layer handling when peak changes back to event. Add a signal to the event state machines. Okay, so we've got just a handful of other things to do. The drawer animations are going to be a little bit tricksy, I think. That might be the best next one to work on. Let me see. So if I go into an event and I expand the alchemy and I go to the map and then I re-up it. The thing that annoys me a little bit is that those tweens are actually different. You can see that, I don't know if you can see this very well, but that alchemy drawer is actually not being hidden. You can still see the vines on the edge here. What I may do is I may make the peak not clickable while alchemy is open. Is that going to break anything though? Let me check. So yeah, this collapse is not the same style as the collapse when it's open here. It all just kind of goes out at the same time. So I definitely want to unify that if I can. I should also probably do a quick controller test to see if all this works. Oh, the combat widget is visible in the health as well. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. I might have to do something about the combat widget. Oh, I also cannot... Okay, I'm glad I tested that. I can't actually go back. To the event with controller. So I'm gonna have to resolve that as well. Well, let's take a look at the drawer animations, I guess. Where did I put that? Apply drawer layout. Do I not have a delay on these things? Oh, I do have a delay. 0.1 there, 0.15 there. Alchemy toggle tween dot tween interval 0.1. Inventory toggle tween. .15. Widget peak tween. Oh. Widget margin container? Oh, that doesn't have the offset transform on it. Why do I need a separate widget margin container? Oh, it's got a margin left. Oh. Okay, well, I wonder what happens if I just turn this on. Let's see what happens. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, the inventory. Oh, okay. There's a little bit of an issue here. I actually don't know if this is going to work. Also, hi, it's been so long. Yes, welcome back. Good queue, not a lot. Remember Gunforge when it had random maps and rooms way back in time? Yeah. Draw icons are bitter since I last saw. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting there. It's coming along. I'm just ready for this feature to be done. I'm already tired of working on it, but I must give the players what they need. I must give the players what they want and what they desire. Oh. The combat widget is going the wrong way. Okay. Obviously, I didn't test that very much. That is way too fast. I mean, it's generally working. That widget is just too fast. Widget ratio. I almost want to, I think I'd rather target the widget root here. So yeah, I may want to do that instead. Let's look at the combat widget. Widget root. Yeah, I think we should probably edit the widget. So what I probably should do is I probably should do combat widget. I want to do probably like play slide out, but I don't want it to free itself. So I'm trying to think of what I want to do. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do a public tween collapse. We're going to create a tween for this as well. So I'll do private tween. We'll just call it widget slide tween. Okay, and we'll do... Actually, I don't need to return a tween here. So we're going to grab this. Widget slide tween. Widget slide tween dot kill if valid. Okay. And then in here, this play slide out, what I'll do is I'll say collapse, and then widget slide tween dot tween action queue free. So that should be functionally the same. And then play, where's play in? Why are these separate from each other? I'm gonna need to make this public anyway. And what I'm probably going to want to do is just do in here. So we just don't want to be able to do anything if we're like in the process of killing it. So then here, what I'll do is play slide out. So this would be no, that's right. That's wrong. Collapse and then expand. And we can get rid of this. Okay, that's probably better. I'm also going to turn this down. All right, let's see what that does. Off to mow the lawn. Have a great stream. Thank you, Ninja Link. Thanks for joining. Object reference not set to an instance of object. Okay, that seems to be working better. Oh, I got the new chrysalis. Oh, I got a bunch of new reagents. Okay. So there's still a problem with these drawers, which is that they are not being marked as invisible. So we will fix that. Widget margin container. I don't think I want to keep that change. Yeah, we're going to get rid of this. Okay, so that should undo that. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we will continue on with this. And that's it. So BRB in just 3 minutes. All right, I'm back. Will there be Easter eggs and puns? Puns are always appreciated in indie dev. There is some humor in the flavor text in a lot of cases, but it's not, no, it's not puns exactly. But welcome back. Good to see you. Good to see you. Alrighty then. I'm gonna rename this play slide out. Why is this public? Remove combat widget. Okay. We're just gonna rename this to destroy. And then this is gonna be called is destroying. All right. So that just makes it a little bit clearer what that's actually doing. Renaming. All right, let me just check the animations and stuff. So actually, I'm not done with this because, like I said, I need to change the visibility of those things. Let's see. Why is it so hard for me to find where this code is? Here we go. Let me just make sure the animation pacing seems correct. Okay, that seems correct to me. All right. Alchemy toggle tween. So try close alchemy. Alchemy drawer dot visible. Okay. So I need to change the drawer visibility. If is peaking. Alchemy drawer. No. If not is peaking. What is it called? Player inventory. Inventory toggle tween action. If I guess I could just do player inventory dot visible is equal to not is peaking, and then alchemy drawer dot visible is equal to not is peaking. All right, let's see if that works. It seems to work. Oops. No, the alchemy drawer. No, it's visible right there. Is equal to is alchemy open? I think I do need to change this. If not, if is peaking alchemy drawer dot visible is equal to false. I think that's correct. Hello, Slate the Gamer. Welcome. So many possible states. Okay. So many possible states. All right. So I think we can call that one done though. Map peak button text. Disable map input layer. Input handling. Not possible to go back to an event on controller. I'm just watching your stream while working on my game, and so far the title screen for it is looking so cool. Are you talking about the title screen for your game? What kind of game are you making? Do I work every day? Yes, I try to do a little bit of work every day at least. During the weekdays, I can work for, 8, 10, 12 hours. Sundays are usually the days where, I go and run errands and whatnot, but so I only usually get a couple of hours of work time on Sundays, but today is different. All right, tell you what, I'm bored of this, so we're gonna go and do some content, I think. We're gonna go and do some content. Actually, there's some bugs that I want to fix too. The bugs are kind of piling up. The bugs are kind of piling up. Let's go back to master. Oops. What do I want to do? I want to build. Okay. It's a retro sci-fi horror text-based survival game called Protocol Zero. Very cool. Very cool. 8 to 12 hours is very impressive. I'm mostly fried after about 3 or 4. Yeah, I mean, it's not like 8 to 12 in a row. Like, I'll do my stream in the mornings and then I'll get some lunch, and then maybe like 2 hours later I do another burst of like 4 hours of work, and then might take an hour or two break and then do another burst of 4 hours of work, and then sometimes I'm up late working. So it's not all like contiguous. I definitely take breaks throughout the day. Hopefully you can get some rest today. Yeah, that'd be nice, but we'll see. I do have a lot of work to do. I need to get Alchemortis done. It has to be done. So what kind of content do we want to do? There's a lot of reagents still to do. Artifacts would be fun though. Allow legendaries to be re-legendarized and gain another legendary ability. Interesting. That would be a fun one. I don't know, I kind of feel like I should do bugs, though. I don't really want to fix bugs. I want to make some new stuff. Shoot. The combat board doesn't look that big anymore, I think. Yeah, no, it doesn't. I mean, the to-do list here, there's 9 items. These are the 9 items that I want to get done for the demo. Actually, I'm going to add a 10th item. I made some difficulty changes and I haven't done much testing of that yet. Why are you doing that? What the heck is going on? Okay. I think it gets a little bit buggy when it's blown up like this. I kind of want to do an artifact. Enemy minions have turned cooldown increased. This might be an interesting one. Do something with duplicate cards. So maybe I could do something like... if 2 cards of the same name are used in alchemy, upgrade the tier of both items or something. Would that be better as a reagent, though? Maybe I should make an artifact that prevents you from using items of the same name. Although that would just be a straight buff. But maybe... this would be like a counter to the wedding ring one. I looked at the Steam page for your game. I have to say it looks super cool. I added to my wish list. I can't wait for the finished product to try and make a video of it. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. Also, if you didn't know, there are Visual Studio Command plugins too that you can control with command palettes. You don't have to switch apps. Yes, I did know about that, but I'm already like, if I were to migrate over, I'd have to like migrate all this stuff to that. Maybe I'll give that a try for the next game. So crazy because I usually work my games on weekends due to my uni schedule, and now during summer I can't break this habit. Even though I work on other days, weekends are still the most productive. Yeah, that is funny. Well, that's the power of habits, I guess. Artifact Blood Pact. All self-inflicted damage is also dealt to the enemy. That's a good one. Oh, I have an idea for a corrupted ability. Ooh, I have an idea for a corrupted ability. Yes. Where do I put that? Let's do the corrupted ability, actually. I just had a great idea. Ability. Abilities on this item that target enemies. Target self instead. Yes. What am I doing? Let's see if we can do that. I actually don't know how I'm going to do that. I mean, let's just see if I can make it work. Target self with abilities. Do I not have a generic query options modifier? Where is this implemented? Query options modification context. There's also a bug with this one that I need to figure out, this board effect. This can be null. Okay. I guess I'm going to need to create a generic query options modifier. All right. Namespace, game.data.ability. Generic query options modifier extends base card ability, I query options modifier. Implement abstract class, implement interface. We're just going to return empty result. Modify query options. If query options dot query target board is equal to true. Well, I guess I don't need to do that. If query options dot query target board, we're going to say query options query target board is equal to false. Query options dot query source board is equal to true. Is that it? Is that all I need to do? Wait. Oh, I did this completely wrong. Oops. I need to do action board inventory component query options. Let's do that. Okay. I feel like it shouldn't be this easy, but I guess we'll see. Abilities that target enemies, target self instead. Target self with abilities. Okay. There's another corrupted ability for us. Let's see if it works. Debug. Training dummy off. Or no, we do want training dummy. Yeah, I think it's good. So what I'll do is I'll grab, I don't know, maybe some kind of confusion item or something. Actually, this is going to be really weird. Let's just make it easy. Add corrupted ability, this one. So this is actually just going to basically delete myself. Oh, it's not working. So the reason it's not working is because it's only targeting it's only using the query options. So it would work in the case of like projects to items on the right edge. Right, so if I do this now, oh, this is not actually going to work. Wow, why is this so difficult? Confuse 3 random enemy items. Okay, so if I do this and I do that, add corrupted ability. I need to build the translations, I guess, but that's okay. So yeah, this is going to target itself now. Or it's going to target the katana. So it should confuse the katana. Yeah, so it confused the katana there. But the problem is any direct damage stuff is not going to be... It's not going to be modified. So I think I need to fix that. I think I need a conversion modifier. So there's a problem here. Source type, target type. I have this target self on all of my magnitude abilities, or all my heal and stuff, so fire. So these all follow the same format of like accepting a value and also a target self. So I'm wondering if I should make another level of inheritance here. Or I could do an interface, something like I self targetable. Is that going to work? Can I do this? Oops. Is that just what I should do here? I'll just do a very minor test with this. So we'll go to the corrupted ability. We're going to do conversion modifier. The source type can be any I ability magnitude. Type of target factory. This conversion modifier is a little bit weird, but that's okay. Okay. So the target factory is source. Do I make this an I self-targetable too? Oh, this has to be an I ability magnitude. Oh, that's unfortunate. I ability magnitude. if source is I self-targetable, source dot self-targetable target self equals true. Is that all I need to do? Condition, keyword, func. So I'm basically just taking any ability magnitude and setting that. Okay, so I set that for fire. What I'll do is I'll just take like a candle or something and I'll put that corrupted ability on it, and then we'll see if I apply fire to myself. I need fuzzy search, autocomplete. Okay, here we go. It didn't work. Well. Why didn't that work? I have a feeling that I'm not using the interface correctly. Maybe I am, though. Let's just do a debug here. Oh, you know what? Oh, I never added the conversion modifier, that's why. The other problem is I don't know if I want to change the target self directly on it, because then it will just be like permanently set to target self. Because I have that as a configuration parameter here. So I think what I may need to do is I may actually need to duplicate it. Oh, this is getting messy. Because I'm changing a property directly on it. But what I want to do instead I almost want to create like a new version of it. Oh, okay, this is a little bit tricky. I don't think I want to change the data directly on it, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, because I'm creating a new thing here. I'm always creating a new object. Fudge. So this won't be a problem in the typical case, but you could imagine a situation where, because I'm changing the internal state of the ability, so if I have a fire ability, and this corrupted ability is on the same item, and it's changing the fire to target self, if I then have another item that copies the fire abilities of adjacent items, it will copy that fire ability, but then it will probably, I mean, maybe, I think there's a risk that it would also be target self, but maybe that's not accurate because I think the copy abilities creates a duplicate as well. But yeah, I don't think I want to change the internal state. So I need a way of like modifying the state by creating a new instance. So now I'm back to, I think what I need to do is base magnitude ability, base card ability. Do I have like a duplicate? I don't. So I basically need to create a copy of this fire and change the target self and then return the new one. Or if I could define the target self just for that one execution, that might also be an option. I mean, the sloppy way to do it is just to say like, we'll target self in next execution, right? And then what I would do is I would essentially do the same thing. So then this would become target self or target self in next execution. Like so, we apply the status and then we say, okay, target self in next execution equals false. That's a little bit sloppy, but I mean, that might be the way that I have to do it. So then what I can do in my corrupted abilities is I can change that to target self and next execution. But wait, that doesn't solve the initial problem I had, which is that it wasn't even targeting itself to begin with. What is even going on in this game? Oh, right. I forgot to add it to the execution list. That's right. I figured out that issue, but then I went down a different tangent. So fix both of those issues at the same time. Do I want to have just like a temporary flag like that though? Fudge. Why is this game so freaking complicated? It's still not working. iBoard queryable. Get modified query options. I might have to invert this. I don't think conversion modifiers can be passive. That might be the problem. Modifier abilities. Get combat abilities of type iAbility modifier. What do I do? So the problem is the ability modifier has to be a combat thing. What am I going to do about this? Get all flattened abilities? I don't know, is that safe? I guess we'll see. I was thinking about starting to stream myself learning C++ and OpenGL. Do you have any tips for a newbie? I don't know anything about either of those things, so I don't know, but from the streaming perspective, yeah, streaming can be a little bit hard because you have to maintain your train of thought, but you also have to keep the stream entertaining enough. So what I try to do, and I haven't been doing a great job of that in the past couple minutes here, but what I try to do is always explain what my thought process is going on, like what's going on with my thought process. That's easier said than done because sometimes I don't even know what my thought process is. Like I'm bouncing around thinking of a million different things. But yeah, you generally want to keep it as entertaining as possible. And it doesn't mean you have to be like a clown, right? It just means that you want to be saying something, hopefully something that's valuable, even if it's just explaining your thought process. And you want to do that even when you don't have any viewers, right? Because the problem is a viewer is going to come into your stream. You have like 1 or 2 viewers, and a third viewer comes into your stream. And if it's just dead silence because you're not talking because you don't have any viewers, then that viewer's not going to stick around, right? So as weird as it seems, what you want to do while you're streaming is talk as if you have an audience, even when you don't have an audience. And that will cause people to want to stay around, right? So even if you've got no viewers on the stream, just keep talking as if there's 50 people watching you. And that's probably the number one tip. The number of times I go, like I'll see like game dev streams pop up on the YouTube. The number of times I go into like a low view count stream and then like the streamer just doesn't talk for like 5 minutes is like off the charts. It's like when a viewer pops into your stream, they want to see something happening. They want to see you talking. They want to see you explaining something. They want to see you building something. So yeah, you kind of want to, as bad as it sounds, you kind of want to minimize downtime. And like I said, that's easier said than done, but that is something that you have to do if you want to start to build an audience when you're streaming. It still doesn't work. Okay, so let's try. Maybe this is not going to be possible. Let's see. We'll attach to the Godot process. Click in. Resume the combat. Yeah, it's not even firing that. I added the conversion modifier there. This is an I ability modifier. I wonder why that's not working. Modifier pipeline. Get all flattened abilities of type where X is base card ability, modifier ability, and should execute ability. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why that's not working. All flattened abilities is not working. Give me 1 second here. Write something down. Sorry, 1 second. I just got to do something real quick on my computer. Of course, it's on the computer. I mean, what else am I doing? Okay. I just realized we're technically the rubber duckies in this relationship. That is true. What is wrong with being the rubber ducky? Just pondering on the coming around of it from being a developer to becoming a rubber duck itself. Just say something. I use streams as a source of noise when I do something. Yeah. I think that's basically it. I'm already great at talking to myself. Well, there you go. Then you'll be a fit right in. Funnily enough, that's also a good strategy if you're interviewing for jobs. So oftentimes, I don't know how it is nowadays with AI. I don't know what the interview process is like, but when I was interviewing for jobs as a software engineer, oftentimes you would have to do like coding exercises, and some of them were like take home coding exercises, and some of them were like you hop on a call for 45 minutes and somebody watches you. And I did the same strategy when I did that version with somebody watching you. Is like there's a challenge up on the screen, you have to implement something to some spec. And what I would do during that is just talk about my thought process. Like even if the person on the other end, the interviewer, is not saying anything, which often they didn't, I would just go through and say, well, okay, so we need to do this. So the initial thought that I have is we could set up a dictionary and we could key it by this, and then blah, 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 and then do like 5 minutes of work and say, now the problem with this approach actually is that, whatever, right? The problem with this approach is that it's not going to allow us to easily get this information. And so to resolve that, what I could do is I could create this helper function that is designed to fetch this certain piece of data from the nested data structure with like all kinds of like fallbacks if the data doesn't exist, et cetera, et cetera. And that often helps because it's just like, I don't think the expectation is in those interviews is that you can do everything within the 45 minutes, but if the interviewer is able to take notes and see how your thought process is working and see that you can talk somewhat intelligently about the problem at hand, that can be a massive boon for your hireability prospects. So that's another piece of unsolicited advice for you if you're ever in that situation. Hello, Rider Mine, welcome. Streaming is also helped by a consistent schedule so that people know when to see you. Yes, that's true too. This conversion modifier is literally never firing, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's just an issue with how I'm testing it. I did implement that for fire, right? I'm not making a stupid mistake here. Yeah, I did. So the way that it's set up is this is adding a conversion modifier. It says apply one fire. That conversion modifier should cause it to target self, but it's not. I really don't know why that's not working. The only thing I can think of is that this is inside of a combat composed ability. Or a non-combat composed ability, I mean. So I might as well just rule it out as a problem. I'll just make it a normal ability. And let's just see if that works. Because if that works, then I know that the problem is that it's inside of a passive ability. But I really don't know. I really don't know why that would be the case, because I'm pretty sure I worked around that, but maybe not. I'm just going to copy this so I don't have to type it. And there's no item hovered. Cool. I need to like freeze the hovered item when I bring up this menu. All right, let's see if this works. It's still not working. What the heck? Did I not configure this correctly? What is even going on here? This is kind of baffling. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe there's a problem in the pipeline. Why is this happening? Let's just look at the modifier abilities. Modifier abilities. Conversion modifier. Source type is eye ability magnitude. Target factory. Okay. So executing ability, target self and next execution. Target self and next execution is still false. So for some reason it's never applying that. So if we got the original and the modifiers, so we've got original. If modifier is conversion modifier, it is a conversion modifier. It's added to the ability list. I guess I should have just stepped through that. Modify ability magnitude. Yeah, there must be something wrong in here, so let's just continue. So that's fire. For each of our modifier and modifiers, we're going to add that as a conversion. Okay. Changed, while changed, for each of our conversion, if visited conversions.contains group ID is null, result equals conversion.modify ability magnitude. Okay, so maybe the interface is just not working the way that I think it is. So I'm going to try something a little bit more direct here. I think interface like properties are weird, so let me try this. Alchemy corrupted abilities. Let's just do if source is fire. We're just going to do that. And we can get rid of that. Let's get rid of this and that. Okay. Try it again. I think maybe I'm using the interface wrong. I always get confused with how to use like properties in interfaces. So I probably am just doing it wrong, if I had to guess. Nope, it's still wrong. Okay, we're going to get rid of I self-targetable. Are we good now? Target type. Fire. Have you ever used the Excalibur plugin for Obsidian? It's a really good way of visually prototyping stuff that's ever useful to you. I have. I tried it at one time. I'm just not big on like drawing stuff out. I've never really found a need for any kind of like drawing app. I have a little notebook here. It's got a skull on it. See, it's pretty cool. I use that sometimes, but yeah, usually I don't really need to draw things. I'm not doing anything that's like that complex where I need to create like whole visuals for it. There's something weird happening here. This is literally just not working. Type of fire to type of fire. If source is fire. Let's just do source. Source.target self and next execution. I am like totally baffled. I don't know why this isn't working. Target self and next execution. Do I need parentheses here? Oh, maybe that was it. Maybe I needed parentheses. No, I don't think so. Because if this is true, like if this gets evaluated first, which it may, that may actually be the case. So target self. No, that doesn't make any sense. Because this has to return a board. So this would have to evaluate first, right? Because if it evaluated this first, it would return a type of board, and that would be bool or board. So I don't actually think that was it, but let's just put that up there anyway. Target self and next execution equals false. I feel like there's just something obvious that I'm missing, because I'm using this conversion modifier in a bunch of places and it hasn't ever been a problem. So I was not expecting to get stuck on this today, but that's okay. Let me try something. Is demo build? I don't have the demo flag on, do I? No, I don't. Okay. I mean, that would have thrown a null reference error anyway, I think. But okay, now it's going. Now it's applying fire to itself. What the heck? So I can't do I ability magnitude. Source type. Oh, right. Oh, I see. So I can't go from ability mag. I can't use the more general type. Oh. Okay, I think there's actually a problem here. So if I want to make it just apply, if I just want to generically handle this, I think I want to do if ability magnitude is equal to source type, or source type is equal to type of I ability magnitude. Right, I was just not supporting the generalized case. Okay. So does that mean that I can undo all this stuff? I self-targetable, and then if I go to fire and put that back, So it was just not passing the condition here because this is resolving to the concrete type of the thing. So when I say I want to listen for all I ability magnitudes, that was actually never working because obviously the concrete type of everything coming in is going to be not just an interface. So that was failing. But what I can do is I could say if the source type is explicitly defined as being a ability magnitude type, then we're gonna fire the target factory. We're gonna fire that off. So does it work now? That's the question. And I don't know about these modifier abilities being passive either. I'm gonna have to do some deep dive into that, I think, but that's okay. Okay, so let's see. I have a feeling that this is gonna work now because it was just a problem with the check. This should be fine now. So now I have a way of listening for all ability magnitudes coming through. Okay, it works now. Okay. So the thing is, I need to put this I self-targetable in basically like all of the base abilities essentially. I may not take that approach though. I might see if there's a better approach to that. Target self and next execution. Okay. Yeah, that was right, Anthony. You were correct. Could do ability magnitude is assignable to type of. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's good to know. But yeah, you were right. That was the issue. Looks like the Death Notebook for bugs. Just type the name of the bug you're having trouble with and it dies. Oh, yeah. Excal draws in VS Code 2. It's good for visualizing relationships between different items mainly. Trees. Yeah. Yeah, drawing trees and graphs and stuff is a good application of that, but... Okay, so... I'm not entirely sure... Like I said, I don't know if this is appropriate. I also want to change this back to a non-combat composed ability. I think that's right, though. So let me write this down. Add I self targetable to other base damage types, damage status types, and then also check if making conversions passive is acceptable, and if so, make all other conversion things passive. Okay. Why is that in the done column? All right. So a lot of stuff in progress, but I'm basically just going to be working all day, so there we go. Hello, Cake Hug, welcome. All right, well, I think that's a good stopping place for the stream. I gotta go get some lunch. I haven't eaten anything all day. It's almost 1:30. So I'm gonna eat some lunch. Maybe I'll stream again later today, so you can join the Discord to be notified when I go live. Also, you can follow on Twitch I think Twitch is a lot better about notifications than YouTube is, but yeah, I guess that's worth mentioning too. I do dual stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So if you're interested, you know, you can use whatever platform you're more comfortable with. I think the Twitch is linked below. So yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for being here. The Alchemortis playtest is still available, so you can go to the Steam page, click request access, and you'll get in instantly. I appreciate all of your support. Thank you all for watching, and I will be back at it at the latest tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, but again, I may stream again later today, so join the Discord to be notified. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now, and see you in the next one.